Hi there, my name is Mr. Hussain and I'm one of the RS consultants of Harris Federation. This video is going to be the session on the 5 pillars of Islam and 10 obligatory acts as part of the Islam practices unit on the AQA RE specification. I'm going to cover those very briefly because we'll have other videos on each one of those in the other videos. So, what are the 5 pillars of Islam? So, firstly, we have to remember the 5 pillars of Islam is in reference to Sunni Islam, who believe in the 5 pillars, and they are important duties for Muslims which support the main principles of Islam. If you think of the word pillars, pillars hold up the beliefs. You've got the main principles, which are the 6 articles of faith. Again, you can check out the video on the 6 articles of faith. The 5 pillars support those principles of Islam. So, they are a way to show those beliefs. The 6 articles of faith are the beliefs. The 5 pillars of Islam are the practices. What are the 5 pillars? You've got the Shahada, you've got Salah, which is prayer, you've got Sawm, which is fasting, you've got Zakah, which is almsgiving, charity, and you've got Hajj, which is pilgrimage. There's a video on each one of these in detail for more information. And then you've got the 10 obligatory acts. Obligatory means compulsory, things you have to do. And Shia Muslims refer to their acts of worship as the 10 obligatory acts. These are the requirements of Shia Muslims. They don't call it the 5 pillars of Islam. That's a Sunni perception of the actions Muslims must do. They have got the 10 obligatory acts. Notice that the first 4 of the 10 obligatory acts are the same 4 pillars as Sunni Islam, but Shia Muslims have other acts that they're obligated to do. They've got something called khums, which you can check out on the video on charity or almsgiving. You've got jihad, which also has a separate video. And then you've got the last 4, which are kind of in 2 pairs. Enjoining good, forbidding evil. Enjoining good is for me to encourage people to do good actions. Forbidding evil is to discourage people doing good actions. So if, for example, I'm going to do a good action, like pray, I might encourage my friend or family member to pray with me. If I see my friend or family member, for example, do something wrong, it is my duty as a Muslim to forbid that, to stop them doing it. Now, I can't force them to stop, but I should advise them, you know what, that's not a good thing you're about to do. And then you've got the last 2, tawalla and tabara. Tawalla is the idea of showing love and devotion towards Prophet Muhammad and his family, and tabara is dissociation from the opponents of Prophet Muhammad and his family. So tawalla is the idea of a Shia Muslim is to show love towards Prophet Muhammad and show respect towards Prophet Muhammad and his family. So as Shia Muslims believe in the imamate, that also comes under tawalla, showing the imams love, devotion, and respect. And likewise, any people who disrespect or show hatred towards Prophet Muhammad and his family, a Shia Muslim would dissociate himself with them, meaning they'd not be their friend, and they would not associate themselves with them, they would not want to be cool with them, because obviously, if someone is disrespectful to someone that you love, you're not going to be very cool with that person, you're not going to really be their friend. Those are the 10 obligatory acts. So if I were to put the 5 pillars of Sunni Islam and the 10 Shia obligatory acts side by side, what would they look like in terms of what is similar and what is different? So in the middle, in terms of what is shared, you've got Salah, prayer, Sawm, fasting, Zakah, almsgiving, and Hajj pilgrimage in the middle. You can find them both, all 4 of these, in the 5 Sunni pillars of Islam and the Shia obligatory acts. Shahada, you're only going to find in the Sunni pillars of Islam, but Shia Muslims, of course, do believe in the Shahada. It is something that they believe in, but they see it more of a belief rather than a practice. And then you've got the remaining. These are going to be just in the Shia obligatory acts. But again, just because they're not in the 5 pillars of Sunni Islam does not mean that Sunni Muslims do not believe in them or practice them. They do. It's just not on their list. So that's what the list looks like side by side in terms of what is shared and what is different. So how could this topic come up in a 4-mark question on Islam practices? Well, it could simply ask you to explain 2 ways in which the 5 pillars of Islam or 10 obligatory acts are practiced by Muslims. So essentially, all you have to do here is pick 2 of the 5 pillars of Islam or pick 2 of the obligatory acts and explain how they are done by Muslims or practiced by Muslims. Now, these are covered in the other videos in detail, so before you can answer these questions, you need to watch the other videos to see how these could be practiced.
Now with 6-mark questions, what you're going to find is that they're going to ask you 2 reasons why the practice is important to Muslims. So in this case, you could be asked why the 5 pillars of Islam are important to Muslims, or why the 10 obligatory acts are important to Muslims. Obviously, the second question is more specific to Shia Islam, whereas the first question is more specific to Sunni Islam. So do have a go at one or both of these, giving yourself a time limit of 4 to 5 minutes, which you can pause the video now to do. So let's have a look at a model answer on one of the questions. Let's look at the 5 pillars question. So how do I get 6 marks for this? One reason is because they, i.e. the 5 pillars, express Muslim beliefs. The pillars of Islam express the belief in Tawheed, since they are acts of worship towards Allah. So I'm going to get 2 marks there for a developed point. Now my source, Prophet Muhammad says, Islam is built upon 5 things. That's another mark there. Now the application, this shows that without the pillars, the beliefs would be weak. So that first paragraph, I am getting the 4 marks. Second paragraph, another reason is that they give Muslim structure. The pillars of Islam clearly guide Muslims on the duties they have to perform. I get 2 marks for that as a developed point, and altogether therefore I get 6 marks out of 6. So as you can see there, I have hit all the criteria for the 6-mark question. Now, if I want to talk about 2 of the pillars specifically and tell me, write about why they're important, that can also work as well. But in this answer, what I have done is I have talked about the pillars in general. But you can, by all means, pick any of the 2 pillars and tell me why each of them is important in their own way. As long as you hit the criteria, you will get 6 marks out of 6.